Buongiorno. Today I just want to talk a little bit about how to use the same word in different tenses. So, yeah, something that's come up quite commonly with my students is just kind of how to translate from the past to the present to the future. And I noticed a couple of errors they make, so I just wanted to jump in and share a couple of those things. Okay, so these examples we gave just on this first slide, had these words in three different tenses: in the past tense, the present tense, and the future. Obviously, we need to know, how to be able to talk about times other than just the here and now, which might be okay if you're getting started, but eventually you're going to need to say something that you did yesterday or something that you will do. I just want to give a really brief explanation of how you can go about doing this. Okay, so some of the common types of errors that I see, which you may or may not be making, is something like this: Domani lavato la macchina. Okay, so if you're not sure what the problem is here, then this is the right video for you. So the problem is that lavato is used in the past tense, and we're talking about domani. Domani means tomorrow. This is tomorrow. Well, the sentence should be tomorrow I will wash the car. This is the sentence right now is tomorrow washed the car, so it doesn't really make sense. Again, something like this: Ieri lavato I vestiti. We're missing avere. It should be ieri ho lavato I vestiti. You may remember this from a textbook somewhere. You may remember if you've seen a video in the passato prossimo. But we always need to use a helper verb, as it's called. Here it should be ho lavato I vestiti. If none of that is making any sense to you, don't worry. I will point you in the right direction at the end of the video of where to go and kind of what to watch next. But yeah, just so you know, that's another common error. Or something like la settimana passata vado a letto presto. Again, tenses don't match, which is, last week I go to bed early, which should be last week I went to bed early. So obviously, you can kind of pick these up quite easily if you're listening to this, obviously in English. But in Italian, I understand it's difficult, especially if you're primarily working in the present tense, which you've been learning since the beginning, that this might be tricky. Okay, now let's explain what's going on. I'm going to need to use a little bit of grammar, but I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible. Okay, so we'll start out with a big scary word, which is the infinitive. That's because there are an infinite amount of things you need to learn in Italian. No, not really. Okay, so the infinitive is kind of like let me move myself out of the way here. The infinitive is kind of like the root, if you want to think about it. This is how I always think about it, is the infinitive is where all these other tenses come from. It's like basically the part where everything else stems from. So let's take something quite simple like lavare, which means to wash. You may or may not remember, lavare was actually the verb that we saw right at the very beginning of this presentation on the first slide when I gave the three examples. So, okay, lavare is what we call the infinitive. Okay, this goes to io laverò, tu laverai, to make the simple future. Okay, if we're going to talk about the imperfect tense, io lavavo, tu lavavi. If you've never heard of that, don't worry, I will direct you at the end. If we're going to talk about the past tense, we'll say ho lavato, hai lavato, etc. I'm only giving the io and the tu versions here, although obviously you have the other ones as well. And yeah, we would have laverei, laveresti, etc. Now, don't panic. I know this looks like a lot, and trust me, there are a lot more of these tenses to learn, but really this is the diagram. That's the whole point of this video. I just wanted to explain how to go from using a word in one context and one tense into another. So you will need to know, I guess you don't technically need to know, but you should know the infinitive of the verb, or be able to work out the infinitive of the verb, and then from there be able to just transition into all of these different tenses. Okay, now each of these different tenses, okay, obviously they are their own video or their own month of study or whatever, but yeah, if you want like a list of stuff to learn, just to get you started, so I'd recommend the infinitive. Now, in order to learn this stuff, I'll share a couple of resources, but this is what I think you should learn. I'm not going to explain it here, but just to kind of point you as to where to go. You should learn the infinitive, you should learn the presente indicativo conjugation, that's the normal present tense that we might use every day, the passato prossimo conjugation, which is the simple past tense, and the simple future conjugation as well. So yeah, if you just want to take a moment to write this down, take a screenshot, whatever. And kind of where you can go to learn these, I think the best two places would be this. If you can find a great, textbook or resource, please let me know in the comments, and I can maybe use it with people. But yeah, ChatGPT is a great place. Just ask it for the basics. Of course, be aware that it will make some mistakes, but in terms of generally what to do. I think it's great. YouTube is a great place. If you just go into YouTube and you type in any of these things, you can have a look on my channel, you can have a look on other people's channels, but it's a fantastic place to learn. Of course, cornerstone is practice, practice, practice. So you can get ChatGPT to make you exercises. You can, whatever, converse with your spouse, your family, whatever. I also have linked in the description a Italian grammar practicer that I've made. So if you want to test that out and see if that can help you, then I'll leave that link down below. Okay, have a wonderful time learning Italian, and I will see you in the next video.